What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Icehouse as we continue through the 1984 album Sidewalk, though this is the 2002 remaster. Thank you again to Phil, as well as to Han Solo, who had kicked off the Icehouse journey to begin with. The next tune is the title track. So, Sidewalk, it is a surface, it is also a material, it is a... what's the right word? Not engineering, it is a designed space in an urban or suburban environment in which pedestrians travel. Also, I guess, at least in some situations, people on bicycles and other individual person modes of transportation. But yeah, I wonder whether this could be more about the sidewalk as a location for certain activities. Fair to say, you can sit on a sidewalk, you can travel from one place to another on a sidewalk, so there could be different ways of looking at the term. It is a single word title. Those are tough to get a read on because they don't have additional context, so let's give it a listen and see what I can decipher. This is Icehouse. The song is Sidewalk from the album of the same name, 1984. His vocals in this track, holy crap, he's really getting fiery, and there's a an intensity to the vocals. They didn't start that way, but as it got to the halfway through the track and then all through the last minute or two, he was really firing away. And then, okay, so overall the track, it has a kind of a slapping bass, a really funky bass line, and then these kind of light melodic touches, I think guitar, but just little melodic touches. So overall, the track had a pretty stripped down feel to it, I would say. It wasn't like really dense, but I think it works because there's a nice balance between those melodic touches up top and the kind of funkier lower end of the tune, and then just kind of the rhythm like carrying both parts of that along the way. Lyrically, I'm intrigued. Like, number one, he's saying, it's the American way, which I think there's a socioeconomic slash political meaning there, but it is, of course, true that, like, here we call it a sidewalk. I think in other places it's called, like, the pavement. So I feel like maybe there's a bit of, just wordplay in that regard, or, a cultural reference. But, like, at first he's saying it's like, the end of the line. There was a line about that, and it's like, oh, that's, kind of, where it's the bottom end. It's the place on the socioeconomic spectrum where you can't really go lower. And then he's talking about like the walls come down, which like that was a line that he was really hitting with strong vocals. And then he's saying like sleeping on the sidewalk, that's the American way. So end of the line, walls coming down, meaning you don't have walls around you anymore. And then saying, sleeping on the sidewalk, it's the American way. I feel like he's talking about homelessness here. And again, in the Reagan 80s, and frankly, right now, poor people and their plight and, taking a humane approach to that is very much not the priority of the powers that be, nor was it, again, in the middle of the Reagan 80s, or the Thatcher 80s in the UK, for that matter. But yeah, it feels like this is maybe speaking to, like, when things don't go your way, when you're at the end of the line, when the walls aren't around you anymore, and when you have nowhere else to go, you're going to end up sleeping on the sidewalk. And that's kind of indicative of, this hyper-capitalist, like the, dog-eat-dog world where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Now, maybe it's not that. Maybe it's not making that kind of point. But there were just a few phrases in there which makes me think there is something to that. So let me know if I'm off base there. And again, when I interpret lyrics, especially for the first time, or never mind for the first time. I mean, even bands that I know. I did a reaction to Depeche Mode earlier in this reaction, and it's a song I've heard now for like almost 40 years, and I was saying I'm still not quite sure how to take some of these lines, and obviously on a first listen to a song, it's even more so. But yeah, I felt like there's maybe something to that socioeconomic slash political angle on this one. Either way, a cool tune, and I'm enjoying this album, so definitely good that we got to go through more Icehouse. Thank you again to Phil, as I said, also to Han Solo. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.